Kind of pulled it out there in the fourth quarter.
Yes, DSU and Dakota Wesleyan were going back and forth. The DSU had a 13-7 lead at halftime, and then it was all Dakota Wesleyan in the second half, outscoring DSU 33-14 for a total of 40-27 win last week, breaking a 21-21 tie after three quarters.
So 2 straight games against GPAC rivals here at home, part of a 3-game homestand. This is the second game. They will open the conference next week here again at Trojan Field before hitting the road. That game against Waldorf of Iowa. Then 2 road games, conference game against Jamestown up in North Dakota, and then at St. Ambrose of Iowa. Back to that Dakota Wesleyan game, a stiff defense restricted the Trojans' running game, but the passing game, Jacob Giles and company still put together a nice game over 300 yards.
Yes, both offense and defense came alive with a great showing for the home crowd last week against DWU. Ben Koulis led the team in tackles with 13, and Cole Potter had 10. Kulos, Spencer Carlson, and Eric Teason each had a quarterback sack. And Derek DeVries intercepted an interception pass for 25 yards. Brendan Waldner had 7 catches for 137. Preston Nordling had 5 for 61 yards and a touchdown. And Bobby Tisch had 5 for 50 yards. And Jacob, 350 yards in that game, only 2 yards shy of his career high, 317, which he did against Briar Cliff of Iowa on October 16th, 2014.
And those receivers you mentioned, both Waldner and Nordling, were teammates of Giles back at Madison High School. So some Madison recruits doing it on offense. On defense, of course, some familiar names. You mentioned Ben Koulos, just a terrific defender. Cole Potter, preseason all-star selection. And we'd expect those both offense and defense to come alive again tonight, wouldn't you?
Yes, we sure will, especially on the offensive side with the weapons in Giles, Brendan Waldner, and Preston Nordling, which Brendan Waldner leads. He's 6th in the nation for receiving yards with his 137, even though it's still the first game of the season.
And I would expect they'll get Bobby Tisch involved, tight end involved a little bit more in this week's offense. He did have some catches last week, 3rd on the team in receptions, but he's a sure-handed upperclassman, plays with a lot of enthusiasm, and is a good player all around. I'd expect Bobby Tisch to get into the flow a little bit more tonight.
But Dordt College is no foe to DSU, considering this is their 5th matchup in the 5th consecutive year. Dordt leads this series 3-1. Dordt came out with 3 straight wins in 3 straight years, dating back to 2011. Dordt beat DSU 40-20. In 2012, Dordt won 24-7. In 2013, Dordt won 14-13. Last 2 were at home, and the last one was at DSU in 2013, and then it went back to Dordt in 2014, where DSU won 41-7, which in that game, DSU took advantage of 5 Dordt College's turnovers, 4 coming from interceptions, and DSU scored the first 41 points in that game to win 41-7.
Yeah, that game was as big a blowout as the score indicated. Trojans came right out, shut down the defenders, and just kept scoring. And finally, again, Gort gets a late touchdown to avoid the shutout. But I'm sure the Trojans would like to continue that momentum now. Dordt ended last season with 4 straight losses. This is their opening game for the 2015 season. So Trojans 1-0, Dordt 0-0. But unless they've made big improvements, we would expect the Trojans, who played well last week, played well last season, to have the upper hand going into this game tonight.
Yeah, DSU is coming into the game 0-1, not 1-0.
Oh, okay.
By accident. It's no trouble, but it's 0-1 for DSU, and they're looking for their first win. And I think Dordt would be a lot easier task than Dakota Wesleyan.
Yeah, we noticed that, especially in the second half, where Dakota Wesleyan just kept coming at the Trojans both offensively and defensively, and that kind of just wore down. Comments from Coach Anderson later, thinking that the Trojans really just got worn out as you got to the end of that game and gave up those points that let the game get out of hand. Nevertheless, pretty close game, 13 points, less than 2 touchdowns against a terrific GPAC foe. And again, another Great Plains Athletic Conference rival tonight with Dordt. Then getting into the conference schedule next week. We're about 5.5 minutes away from kickoff. We'll get a few other items going here. We'll talk a little bit about some of the other sports. We'll have announcements of starting lineups, then national anthem, and so on. We'd urge you to come out to the games if you can, if you're within reason. Come on out and support the Trojans anyway. There's also the renaissance of the Trojan Athletic Club going strong this year, and to help support DSU athletics of all sorts. And we're glad to see that group come back into play.
Yeah, and thank you to Russ Olson for organizing.
Trojans about ready to charge onto the field. Defenders already on their sideline across the way. So we're going to take a moment and listen to the national anthem. Alexandria Monroe with the national anthem. We've been asking her throughout the course of the last few weeks, when is she going to be singing the national anthem? And here she is getting that nice rendition.
Yeah, she has a very tremendous and beautiful voice. So we think.
So Trojans rushing on the field, led by new mascot Trojan Troy in pretty foreboding uniform there and helmet and so on. So we expect him to add some spirit and life to the cheerleaders in front of the home crowd. Not nearly as many people coming up from Sioux Center, Iowa to help support Dordt on the other side as were from Dakota Wesleyan last week. go to Wesleyan travels well. They go to a lot of games, and it's, of course, not very far, just about an hour and 15 minutes from that campus to this campus. Remember, you can catch all home games here at dsuathletics.com. That'll link you to live streaming through our YouTube site. You can also listen to the games on, if you're close enough, on 103.1 KJM FM. They'll be broadcasting by radio all 11 games of the Trojans this year. You can also check the live stats play-by-play on all DSU home football games. Go to dacstats.com, find your way through there, and click on the letter W for to get live stats during the game. You can keep one window open to the video and watch the stats as well. You can also check on twitter.com/GoDASU Athletics, score updates, recap, commentary, and so forth. Sports Information Director Nick Hunterberg in charge of social media and website kind of activity. So you can check that during the week. We'll talk a little bit about some other sports. Trojans ran cross country last night, opening that season in the Augustana Twilight Meet. That's a little bit different circumstance. Huge numbers of runners there. It's not quite as a competitive as most duels or even invitationals. More than 200 runners, 200 men runners, more than 200 women runners. And so it was a kind of a crazy evening. That also includes, and they also have a section for high school, boys and girls. It's just quite a crazy meet all around. 24 men's and women's teams compete in there, including Division I Nebraska. Fair number of the Northern Sun D2 schools and some of the GPAC NAIA squads. Interesting thing about that, of course, the course is a figure-8 run, which is I've never really seen in a cross-country circumstance, but they draw well. It's just a big night. Music, lights, food, and so on. Of course, the men's team is the defending North Star Conference champions. Senior Michael Carson did a terrific job last year. The women's squad has 4 runners returning from last year's 5th place NSAA finish. So we're ready for kickoff. And we're underway. Nick Behrens gets the ball up, and this one's going to be a touchback. A nice start right in the corner. There were a couple circumstances last week where Nick got it right to that corner, but it took a bounce and went out of bounds, and of course that's a penalty and affecting field position. Either re-kick that or take a ball up to the 35-yard line. So we're ready to see Dordt for the first time in a couple years here at Trojan Field. As we mentioned, last year's game down at Sioux Center, Iowa, Trojans' big victory there. As we mentioned, Dordt coming off a 4-game losing streak to end last year, and they are hoping to snap that there. Trojans would love to keep that streak going. First play from scrimmage, clock hasn't even started yet, and first thing we do is a 6'1", 190. Pickup of 2, second down, and that's more than. Look like 7. Okay. All right, we're back here now. Run up the middle. Why'd they take the ball on the 25?
That's what in college you start on the 25.
Okay. All right. I thought this was the NFL.
I know. I thought it was too.
All right. We're back in action. So 3rd and 4, ball at the 31. Dordt would love to pick up a first down here. Trojans want to stop that and maintain some field position. 4-man front for the Trojans. And here's a pitch again to Xavier. That's the first down. I guess they would be using that quarterback read option all night. They've run it so far, and Seaman can run as well as pass and hand off effectively, so they will use him. He's just a sophomore, just like Trojan quarterback Jacob Giles. Maybe gets a little forward progress and picks up a yard. Looks like they'll give him 2 yards on that. So again, 2nd and 8. Now ball at the defender's 42-yard line. Andy, so far they have not thrown a pass and look like they're going to either hand off, pitch, or keep it.
Yeah, their running game was really stellar last year, and why not start it again this year?
So here's the pitch out and a nice block inside. So he's going to get around to the sideline. He gets hit. It looks like it's going to be enough for the first down. It is. Caffey, also a sophomore, just 5'6" from Lancaster, Texas. Another first down for Dordt. 12:28 remaining in the first quarter. Again, they're going to the no huddle, but it's not a quick no huddle. They spend some time looking at the side, so I think you lose some of the advantage of that no huddle. Now Caffey goes wide, but the handoff is inside to Loken Van de Vecti, senior running back from Orange City, Iowa. He's going to pick up about 5 yards. Be 2nd and 5, now at the Trojan 44. Trojan defense bending a little bit, not breaking yet, but they would like to have a stop one of these so that Dordt doesn't score in the first series here. Okay, Seaman under center. He's going to pitch again, and Caffey's going to get wrapped up. No gain. Kulos, of course, on the tackle. Seems like he's all over the field, Andy.
Yeah, he is. He gets out, once the play starts, and he's lights out.
Gets a nose for the ball. Senior linebacker from Peoria, Arizona. Liberty High School there. Of course, DSU head coach Josh Anderson coached 6 years in Arizona as a head coach in high school. Here's the pitch. Oh, there's a fumble. Covered by question about that. There was not really a scramble for the ball. So Dordt coughed it up, and essentially a Trojan, and we're trying to identify who it is, picked it up right away, and there was no defenders around to challenge him for that. So Dakota State is going to take possession for the first time, just under 11 minutes. They're at the 42-yard line of their own territory. Again, Jacob Giles, Jeremy Christner, running back, Boy, Dakota Wesleyan really held Christner last week, didn't they, Andy?
They sure did. He did not get anywhere, which made Jacob Giles use his passing game to keep the Trojans in the game for most of the game yesterday.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So this time, hands off to Christner. Also, Anderson was using his rotating running backs essentially in 4-play series or in something like that, not rotating them in each time. So Christner goes to the left, no gain. This time he gets it up the middle. He's going to break it through. Or 7 yards. He had probably one defender before he was going to get down the sideline a ways, but he gets a nice run here. That'll probably be, let's see, 7-yard gain for Christner, so he's got 7 yards on 2 carries. Giles in the shotgun, rechecks his wristband. 10:05 remaining in the first quarter. A third straight handoff to Christner. He's going to dance, and he's going to make it to the first down. That's what you want to do in early parts of the game. Move those chains, get your act together a little bit. We were talking a little bit about how the Trojans, believe it or not, have just that one game experience, but that matters. There's usually some things that you can't work on in practice, you end up working on in games. Well, I spent a moment talking to DSU Athletic Director Jeff Dittman.
It must have been something serious if you were talking to the athletic director.
Exactly, and of course bad things happen when I talk to Jeff, so let's get back in the game. Get the Trojans back in action. They're on their own 44-yard line. 2nd and 20. Giles, back to pass. He's looking downfield. He's got, just out of the reach. Opdahl had a step or two on his defender. Giles floated it out there. He waited a while to allow Opdahl to get downfield, but just could not convert. Austin dove for that, but just could not quite stretch to get that. That would have been a first down easily. So now the Trojans face a long 3rd and 20. We suspect they'll go to the air. Again, now Davian Banks in the I-back position behind Giles, but we'd guess he would go flare out. Oh, and Giles keeps it. Nice move. And he gets tackled. Cole McLean, senior defensive back from Miller, South Dakota, from Sunshine Bible Academy, wraps up Giles. That's one thing I think Jacob is noticing a little bit from last year and the year before, is that these defenders are keying a little bit more on his speed and are able to catch up. He certainly hasn't lost any speed, but I think the defenders are scouting that a little bit better in the fact that he can run so well. So Trojans with a 4th and 16 are going to punt. Nice snap, and Behrens gets off a beauty. Holy smokes. Oh, and a non-fair catch. And Danny Jordan, he had a great game last week, Andy, and the 5'8 junior from Lakeview Terrace, California, and he covers that punt beautifully.
He sure did.
So Dordt's going to get the ball, but it's going to be deep in their own territory. Way down to the 7. So it's not a situation where you're going to easily get a safety. On the other hand, you got a ways to go if you want to make any progress. And if the Trojans can hold them in just the first series there, they could get ball back at midfield or better. 8:08 remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10, Dordt. Goes right inside again. Quarterback keeper for Talon Seaman. Seaman essentially 2 carries for 3 or 4 yards. Xavier Caffey, 3 carries for 20 yards. He's the feature running back. A little bit more, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and a nice stop there by the Trojans. So they'll face about a 3rd and 8, and we'll see if they go to the air. No passing yet at all for Dordt. They've had 9 running plays, although a couple of pitches, and one of those resulted in a turnover and a Trojan recovery. Now they go with the pitch again. This time they get it outside to Andre Williams. And we'll see where that's spotted. Very close to the first down. And it is a first down. Dordt makes it by inches. So still no passing plays for Dordt. One wide out each direction, so they run a tight formation. 1 running back behind but 2 flankers. And here's the pitch to Caffey, and he bobbles it for a moment, has to spin and drop for a substantial loss. He's back to about the 10 or 11 yard line. So it'll be about 2nd and 18 for the defenders. Clock continues to run. If they spend all their time running and the Trojans do as well, that clock will keep ticking. We're already at the 6-minute mark. This time a little bit more spread, and they do go back to pass for the first time. And down and out, and Jordan, oh, nice catch. So reception by Jason Miller, but Jordan was covering, and a nice catch down and out pattern, and so it was a bit of a timing thing. So Seaman threw it before the turn had been made. 3rd and 2 for Dordt. 5:25 remaining in the first quarter. No score here at Trojan Field. Here goes that option again. They run some different looks at that, but there's not a lot of difference. They're going to pick up enough for the first down, though. So advance the ball to the 29-yard line. 5:10 remaining in the first quarter. Again, the positioning is almost this exact same every time. 1 wide out each direction, 1 running back in an I position. Here's a pass downfield, a floater, that can be intercepted. Nope, it's going to be out of bounds. I don't know if that got away from him or just intentionally put it out there too far. But so 2 flanker backs, and Seaman under center. So they run a lot of different plays from that formation, but typically the same formation every time. Kyle Brummel, the wide out on this side, on the near side of the field. Brummel, a senior wide receiver from Rock Valley, Iowa. Not sure how many he's going to catch this year if they don't throw the ball. 2 pass attempts so far. 1 for 2. Trojans will face a 3rd and 3. Let's see if they can clamp it down here. Ball's at the 36-yard line of Dordt. Remember, their first drive ended in a turnover, fumble. No action there. Look at that gang tackle for the Trojans. That's the definition of an assisted tackle. And it'll finally bring up 4th down. Brendan Waldner goes deep for the Trojans. He's there every time. Last week, good punting by Dakota Wesleyan, and he had to call a lot of fair catches, Andy.
Yes, he sure had.
But if he does take it, he's a good return man and can get some yards upfield.
Yes, if they don't get him down right away, he can go all the way. He's really quick on his legs and can break those tackles.
He calls the fair catch this time, bobbles it momentarily.
Dordt says they have it.
Yes, and they do. I thought Waldner was able to get right back on that. Looked like he bobbled it and fell on it, but somehow it ends up with Dordt, and they recover. He called the fair catch, but the rule is that once the ball touches the ground, it's fair game again. So you can hit people, you can do whatever you need. Otherwise, that fair catch is a get-out-of-hit-free card. So Dordt now takes over at the 18-yard line of the Trojans. Less than 20 yards from pay dirt. No score so far. 3:25 left in the first quarter. Now the wide receivers come in a lot tighter. Otherwise, the same formation, but the wide receivers are a lot shorter. Caffey swings around to the outside. He's going to get a little bit of room. Gets tackled nicely by Dan Gandali. Excuse me. Second and 6, down to the 14 for Dordt. Now at the near hash mark, same formation. C-man under center. Kicks it out, tipped away, it's going to be fumbled, and there's a run back. Eric Teason is heading down, he'll go all the way for the touchdown, Trojans.
Wow, no, what a turn of events.
There is a flag on the field. We don't know if it's an inadvertent flag. We will wait and see. There is a flag. It was originally back about by the 40 or 45-yard line, picked up by the official and thrown toward on the other side of the 45-yard line of Dordt. We'll see what happens here. Coach Anderson is not stomping up and down. I think he knows what this is. They've run that pitch so many times, Trojans are finally getting used to that, and then was able to tip the ball away, and Teason was able to gather it up and haul it in, head to the opposite end zone. Looks like it's still going to be Trojan ball. But instead of a touchdown, it's going to be way back at the Trojan 42. So they get possession. What was that penalty?
42.
We never saw a signal. We were looking at the officials.
What was it?
Here's a handoff to Christner. He trips up a little bit, but he's going to get a first down out of that. About 11-yard gain for Jeremy Christner. We're going to check on that penalty in a second. Again, Christner, this time to the left side. He's got a little running room. He's going to make about 7 or 8 yards.
That one was 20. The carrier after was 76.
No, what?
And Christner gets up to about the 39-yard line of Dordt. So Trojans making some progress here. They'll have a 2nd and 2. Just one wide out each side. Giles floats it down. It's going to be way too much. Waldner on the left side. Essentially stride for stride with his defender, but Giles threw that long. He's got plenty of arm strength. Now Mitchell Galloway coming in, sophomore wide receiver from Orange Park, Florida. He'll be on the near side here. Zach Wilkinson, the wide receiver on the other side. Christner gets the inside handoff, stumbles, gets it up, keeps going. Finally brought down by Ari Hoekstra, a sophomore defensive back, once Christner got into the backfield. So another first down for the Trojans. We're under 2 minutes. A little bit of a cloud cover here today, so sun not a problem. Christner, no, this time, and it's going to be Banks. And Davian Banks in for the score. So now the Trojans, no flags on that play. Now the Trojans getting a run. So, Andy, this running game is a lot more effective today than it has been.
Yes, it was. It was a great play, with that penalty that Brock, that fumble return for a touchdown back. They went right back to work and scored the touchdown.
So Christner has about 30 yards, and Banks, I don't know how many he picked up on that one, but okay, Christner now has 47. Our stats are a little bit behind here. So Barons will line up for the kick, and that one's good. So the Trojans, a 7-0 lead, marked that at 1:42 left in the first quarter. The score, Dakota State 7, Dordt nothing. So a 22-yard scamper by Davian Banks. Beautiful moves down there. So that's a nice average, Andy. 1 carry, 22 yards, and averages a touchdown every time he carries it.
Yes, it's a very good stats there, and a very good offensive possession there for the Trojans to take the lead 7-0.
That penalty under review, holding penalty, is what brought that back from the touchdown on the turnover, but it was after the fumble recovery, so the turnover stands. Minute 42 remaining in the first quarter. Trojans out in front first. And again, nice running game so far, 63 yards. That's more than the Trojans had all of last week. Last week, Hagen Hines led the Trojans in rushing with 42 yards. And they really put the clamps on Jeremy Christner, who is now broken out. He's already has 47 by himself, and the first quarter isn't over yet. So Barons gets a foot into it. And it's downfield. Caffey's going to run about. He wants to go up the middle. He does. Got blockers. He's got some players, but there's only one man to beat. Oh, and he got him. Not perfect task. Austin Ross, the senior cornerback from Chester, makes that tackle there. Barons was there. Opdahl was there. Some of the best speed players the Trojans have, but Caffey is a terrific running talent and gets all the way up to the 22-yard line of the Trojans.
Yeah, Ross just saved a huge momentum shift for Dordt there. If they would have scored,
if they would have scored, right, then that would be really defeating for the home team. Nevertheless, they are within eyesight of the end zone. Again, one wide each side. Close formation. Handoff goes inside. Vandevek takes it in. He'll get about 2 yards, 3 yards, let's call it. Minute 10 remaining first quarter. Clock now running again. Down to a minute. At the quarter, they'll merely change ends. It's not a repossession. And he tries to hold on and bowls over one defender, but Seaman with the carry. Gondali there, make the tackle. But picks up about 4 yards, so 3rd and 3, a big play. We would suspect they would go for it here. We do not have a scouting report on their field goal capabilities. But presuming they don't lose yards on this carry, we would expect them to go for it. Carry inside, can they get enough? Leaning into it. Van de Veck picks up the first down, and that appears as though that'll be the end of the first quarter. It is. Teams go to their sidelines. That's the end of the first quarter. Trojans 7, Dordt College nothing. We'll take a 60-second break here on DSUathletics.com. We're back here at Trojan Field, the beginning of the second quarter, and Dordt defenders trying to get into the end zone. They'll make it up a few yards. Seaman now with, how many carries does he have? 6 carries, but not for very many yards. Averaging a little over 1 yard per carry. But it keeps that option alive. Caffey leads Dordt in rushing yards with 18. Van de Veck with 16. Jeremy Christner leading the Trojans. Here's a pitch outside. He's going to get awfully close to the end zone. Andre Williams. That's his 4th carry of the game. So 1st and goal at the 2. Dordt knocking on the door, trying to get back into a tie with the Trojans here early in the second quarter. Handoff inside, that's a touchdown. And Van de Veck is going to get credit for that one at the 13:49 mark. So Dordt 6, Trojans 7. We'll see what they do here. Their field goal kicker is Jake Brower, the freshman from Pella, Iowa. Tall kicker, about 6'4". Cole McLean will hold. A little bit low snap, kicks it through, and that will miss to the right, wide right. So the freshman got a nice look at it, but it a nice rush by the Trojans, maybe put on a little bit of pressure there. But that it could be a big point going down the stretch, Andy, a missed extra point, and the Trojans still lead 7-6.
Yes, it was a very good play by Dordt on that offensive possession, but the missed field goal helped the DSU Trojans, in the lead, continue in the lead.
So Dordt will kick off. They'll go from west to east.
Now, we might say deja vu. In this game, the Trojans scoring 7 points and DW, scoring 6 on the first possession, and DW, ending up winning the game. So see how this.
Yeah, we're not going to do that again. I think that's we got to put a stop to that. So Banks and Waldner back to receive. Jeff Papke is the kickoff kicker. He's a linebacker during the day. Boom, and he gets a deep one. And for Banks, it's going to be too far into the end zone. That's quite a kick. And so the Trojans will take over 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. 13:49 remaining. They lead by a point. Let's see if the Trojans can get a drive. Long, sustained, gobble up some time here and then punch it in. Some early statistics, you can imagine pretty even. 6 first downs for Dordt, 4 for the Trojans. 68 rushing yards for the defenders and 63 for Dakota State. Trojans 0 for 2 passing, no yards. Dordt just 1 for 2, so the game being battled on the ground so far. And that's going to be a delay of game. Now no, it's a timeout. Is that, I saw a yellow flag go up. I don't know if they'll say they called the timeout first as he threw it in the air or what happened, but the flag has been picked up and the ball position has not changed. So Dakota State takes its first timeout, has 2 remaining in the half, and defenders have not taken any yet. "25-second play clock, visible at both ends. So 2 tight end formation for the Trojans. Giles back to pass. He's got a man open, but throws too much again. Austin Opdahl was open again, but Giles just leading his receivers a little bit too much each time. So Trojans 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Giles back to pass again. He scrambles right. He's got a little room to go. Gets a throw just a little bit, and that might. Nope. Thought it might be a hit out of bounds. James Starr, senior linebacker, was able to get Giles down after a gain of about 9. Now Galloway back in the game, far side. Wilkinson on this. They've been running that on 3rd down a couple times. Boom! Gets through all the way. Hagen Hines. That's his first carry of the game. And again, he led the Trojans in rushing last week with 42 yards, and he picks up some here. Trojans quickly get it back in And Hines tries again, barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Second and 11. We're under 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Giles in the shotgun. Hands it off to Hines. He bursts through. It's going to get about 6 yards. So they'll face a 3rd and 5. Again, now getting into Dordt territory. Two wide receivers, one to each side. Giles takes a good look at that, and Hines looks like he's going to get the first down, rolling over on top. He calls for a sub. Opdahl in for Wilkinson as well. So it appears as though they're using Opdahl and Waldner as wide receivers, except on 3rd downs. Here's Hines, breaks through. Here's a nice gain, but a flag in the backfield. We'll see what this is.
Where are we at? Who got the tackle?
Davian Banks.
Where's the ball? Just entered?
So 1st and 15 for the Trojans.
False start.
The penalty, false start. I didn't see it take place, but that's the call. They're closer than we are. Giles in the shotgun. 12:07 remaining in the first half. Handoff, fumble. Giles picks it up. He's going to run with it, and he's not going to get anywhere. He could have fallen on that, but he picked it up and started to run. Didn't make much progress there. But that's going to be a long 2nd down now. Probably 20 yards. 2nd and 20. So Trojans, after making some progress on this drive, are now backpedaling a little bit. We're under 12 minutes.
I was on the 51.
Get the quick huddle, not a no huddle. Now they're running 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Giles fakes to Hines, rolls out, spins. Oh, very nice play. Hines is going to get some yardage, but not as much as they'd like. He had some open field, made probably only 5 yards after the catch. About 6-yard gain total, so a 3rd and 13. No huddle this time for the Trojans. 2 wide receivers to the open side of the field. Waldner's the closest to the sideline here. Fumble. Giles being pursued, and he goes down. And they may call a taunt on that, but they don't. And the Trojans will be forced to punt. Giles just not being able to escape some of this pressure. So where the offensive line is giving that up a little bit this year, we can't say for sure, but they're coming at him pretty strong, whether this is a particularly strong defensive line. Behrens does the delayed kick and gets it all the way down. And the ball's going to be at the 1-yard line. Good coverage by the Trojans. Ten and a half minutes remaining in the first half. Trojans enjoying a 1-point lead is all. Kind of a backwards drive there after some progress early and able to squib it down. It was first downed at the 4-yard line, even though it appeared as though it was the 1. We saw the official throw his marker out there at the 4, and that's where the defenders will start. 1st and 10, Dordt. They're pretty well pinned back against their own end zone. They were able to get it out maybe to the 7-8 yard line, maybe the 9. Again, heavily dominated by the running game. 40 plays from scrimmage were rushes, just 6 passing. We're approaching 10 minutes left in the half. Seaman, the 6'1" sophomore. And again, a little progress. It's called 3rd and 3. Ball's out to about the 11 now. Same formation as we've been mentioning with the defenders. And they're going to be able to stop them. It looks like they will be very close. We will see. Might have been a last-minute surge that got him, and they will call that first down. The crowd doesn't exactly agree with that, but here we are. Almost to the 15-yard line, 9:14 remaining in the first half. 1st and 10, new series for Dordt. 4-man front for the Trojans. Here's a quick pitch to Caffey. He's got some room. He's going to pick up a few yards, not enough for the first down. As he goes to the far sideline. Good pursuit by the Trojans. Not as much room over there, given where the ball was snapped. And so he ran out of room before he could turn that corner. 2nd and 4. Ball now at the defender 15-yard line. Single man coverage on each side. He could end up surprising the Trojans at some point in throwing a pass and having single coverage. And here it is, and that's get way too long also. A well-thrown ball, I think, would have hit Jason Miller, the junior wide receiver from Byron Center, Michigan. But if you're only going to throw 3 times a half, maybe your arm isn't exactly where you want it to be. Third and 4. Ball at the 21-yard line. Handoff dive inside, not enough for the first down, so they'll be in a punting situation. And they do bring on the punt team. So Waldner goes back. He'll be at about the 35-yard line. Eight minutes remaining in the first half. Stick around for the halftime show. We'll have Dakota State Athletic Director Jeff Dittman on hand. Nice punt. It's going to back up Waldner a fair amount. He runs away from it, and that'll get down to about the 21 or 22-yard line for the Trojans to take over there. They lead by 1 point, 7:44 remaining in the second quarter. Just the right amount of time for a clock-consuming drive to get down. First part of that last drive, as we mentioned, strong for the Trojans. Picked up a couple of first downs and then backed it up a little ways. We'll talk a little bit about that cross country last night and women's volleyball. They already played today. And they have another game tonight. They have and part of the Corn Palace Classic, so they'll have 2 matches today and 2 tomorrow. Here's Giles to Christner. And Jeremy breaks through, and he'll pick up the first down right away. Loses his helmet, but they'll get Hagen Hines in. Let Christner re-equip himself. 1st and 10 Trojans, ball at the 22-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left. Doug Hale now in at wide receiver. Trojans have probably more depth at wide receiver this year than we remember in recent years. Hand off to Hines. He breaks around. He's going to head for the first down. Got it. And he heads toward the sidelines. It goes past midfield. Nice run by Hagen Hines. And all of a sudden, he's up to about a 40-yard game so far. Christner at 47 yards. No, plus the 11, right? So he would have 58 yards. Giles back to pass. Can't elude those defenders. Swings it out. Can he get it? Yes. Beautiful run. After the catch, Giles really was in the grasp. Practically swung it out to Christner. Christner really made it happen for another first down. So just the second reception so far today for the Trojans, but a very successful one. Banks, and now here's another flag. They're going to talk about holding. David Riley was looking back as if he might be the culprit. 1st and 15. Ball now on the 38-yard line, near hash mark. So more depth at skill positions. Wide receivers, a lot of swapping out. Running backs. Line has been very steady. To get a pitch to Hines, and makes a little bit of progress. We still think Trojans would do well to get Bobby Tisch back in the game. That time he blocked for a moment, then released, but Giles chose to go to the flat, swings it out. Hines this time spins, heading for another gain, picks up about 4 more yards. So it'll be about 3rd and 6, ball at the 29-yard line.
False start.
And a timeout called by Dordt. 5:59 remaining in the first half. Let's hit some team statistics while we're waiting for this timeout. Trojans now taking the lead in first downs, 10-7. Rushing bursting up to 132 yards now. Again, Christner now at 69 yards. Hines at 49. That T-shirt almost come in our window? Is that what?
It went right over our window.
Oh, man. Is there workers' comp for guys in the booth?
There should be.
I think there should be. Total passing yards, though, still pretty anemic. Just 14 for Dordt, 19 for Dakota State. Total yards then go to the Trojans, 151-101. Each team having 2 punts. This latest drive has pushed the Trojans a little bit ahead in the statistical war, but the score is still pretty much the same, and that'll be, I'm going to say who is, again, false start on the Trojans. It'll back them up 5 yards, so they'll have about a 3rd and 11. Clock does not start on that. So still 5:59 remaining. Trojans 1 point lead. Now 2 wide to each side, including Tisch on the far side instead of his usual tight end position. He heads down the middle, and Giles again trying to escape trouble. Can't do it. It's just something that the pursuit of both Dakota Wesleyan and Dordt this year have been much better. Giles has the speed, but the defense, I think, has just scouted that and not allowing him to break any open. Clock continues to run. 4th down, Barron's back to kick. Now, way overweighted to the right side for the defenders, but looks like they're just going to let that one go, and it rolls into the end zone. Barron's trying for a corner kick, but from that short a position, there's not much you can do. Dordt didn't even have a receiver back there. Remember, this Saturday, Trojan Cross Country is at home out at the Madison Golf and Country Club for the Herb Blakely Invitational. That'll be at 10:30. We'd urge Trojan fans who enjoy cross country to get out there and support the Trojans. Volleyball continues on the road. They play all the way until September 24th. 18 matches on the road before their first home match. So 1st and 10 for Dordt. Vandevet picking up about 2 yards. Be a 2nd and 8. Ball's at about the 22-yard line, maybe 23-yard line. Let's call it a gain of 3. Here's the pass, and nice reception, but also an excellent tackle. Romack also over there to help with the tackle. Third and 3 for Dordt, a crucial play. Just 4:10 remaining. If the Trojans can get the ball back here, they would have enough time to get a small drive going. Defenders thinking just the opposite, keep this one going and use up that 4 minutes. Not this time. And a nice stop. Seaman faked the handoff, went to the left side, and a group tackle by the Trojans. Clock is stopped here. You're going to measure. I don't think it's that close. All depends on the spot, of course. Nope, that's what they were discussing. They're not going to measure, but they wanted to get the spot correct. I think it's a little generous in the spotting. Nope, they do call the first down. Yeah, I don't know. Booth guys, what do you think? First down? Yeah. Andy, what do you think? Short?
I think it was short.
Yep, I'm with you. Even though we're wearing blue and gold in the booth here.
Yeah.
Sun's coming out, so now for the first time playing a factor in the thing, the defenders will be looking into the sun as it's getting close to setting. New set of downs for Dordt, so they will probably keep the ball most of the rest of this half. Running inside again. Plenty of time on the play clock, but they're going to get up as quickly as they can, trying to make something of this drive. They're at about the 33-yard line, 2nd and 7 for Dordt. Kyle Brummel wide out this side. And a handoff inside again to Vandevek, and he's going to pick up the first down. Clock stops as they move the chains. 3:04. And the clock running again. Ball's on the 41-yard now, approaching midfield. They need to get to the Trojan 49 to get the first down. Vandevet again shedding some tackles. But he was ready to go for the second gasp there, but Hunter Smith, the junior safety from Sioux Falls on the Trojans, knocks him down. 2nd and 3, 48-yard line of Dordt. Clock continues to click. Still have 15 seconds on the play clock. Caffey in motion, fake, and Seaman's got the first down. He wants more. Keeps struggling. Gets it all the way down to the 41-yard, new first down. And again, clock stops for the chain moving. So we're at 1:59. Now clock gets going. Andy, I see Preston Nordling on the sideline after 5 receptions last week. I do not believe he has played yet. I don't know if his back is acting up. Here's a handoff to Vandevek just in time. Seaman slipped but is able to get the ball away. Minute 22, Dordt would love to get in the end zone. And here's another timeout. Trojans have 1 timeout left. Dordt has 2. Again, stick around for the halftime show. We'll have DSU Athletic Director Jeff Dittman with us, also women's basketball head coach. Pretty even game. Again, each drive seems to move the statistics in favor of the team on offense, Andy, and then they seem to, next drive, the other team tightens it up again.
Yeah, it's been a back and forth game so far today in the first half.
10 first downs for Dordt, 9 for the Trojans. 123 yards rushing for the defenders, 119 for the Trojans. So those two statistics very close. Passing is exactly even, 19 yards each. So we're back to live play again. Minute 22 before halftime. Dordt with the 2nd and 8. And a pitch outside to Caffey. He's going to have the first down and is inside the 30. Clock stops for chain moving, but that'll start again as soon as the chains are ready. The play clock continues to run during that time. First and 10, Dordt. Handoff, Vandevet. Nice stop inside. That was Darian Office, the junior defensive end. Wraps up Vandevet. Second timeout this time by Dordt. 51 seconds. The receivers looking back to the quarterback would look into the sun now. Again, this just came out a minute or two ago after having been under clouds most of the day. They reset the clock at 1 minute. They had it running a little bit after the defenders had called timeout. Trojans lead 7-6. So one of the biggest plays of the game, 2nd and 6, ball at the 26 for Dordt. I wouldn't worry about receivers looking. And a nice fake handoff by Seaman, but also a terrific tackle by 2 Trojans. I think the primary tackler there was Derek DeVries, the sophomore from Lenox. Enough for a first down, but clock now might be working. 1 timeout remaining for each team. 1st and 10 from the 20. And Seaman gets tackled for a loss. That's Kulos. Again, veteran leader for the Trojans, a great defender. 5'9", but packs 210. Now down to 24 seconds. They're going to be running out of clock. They do have 1 timeout remaining. Here's a quick pass, and it's going to be successful and goes out of bounds. Jason Miller, junior wide receiver, picks it up. It'll be about a 3rd and 4. Clock is stopped on the out of bounds. Seaman limping a little bit. He seemed like one of his carries in the first quarter caused that limp, and hasn't really affected him too much, but when he's walking, it's a little more noticeable. Back to pass. Sees the defender down the middle. Loses. Oh, my goodness. Caffey. The defender got turned around. Didn't see the pass coming. Caffey just was able to stop and catch it. So defenders score with just 13 seconds remaining in the half. Textbook drive for Dordt all the way down the field, managing the clock, keeping going, and finally going to the air twice in the last 2 plays to get into the end zone, and using 2 of their best players and getting in. So another chance for an extra point. They missed the one on the first touchdown earlier this quarter. Little chip shot. This time it's good. So Dordt 13, Trojans 7 as we approach halftime. Again, just about the way you'd want a drive to go if you've got 4.5 minutes to go and you take over in your own territory, work it down and score with 13 seconds left. Each team still has 1 timeout. If the Trojans run this back, they'll probably have time for only 1 play, probably 2 plays if they don't run it back. BYU beats Nebraska on a Hail Mary as the clock expires. Texas A&M an early lead over Arizona State. ASU 15th in the country. I'm sure all the Nebraska fans are heartbroken to lose like that in the first game of the year. Again, linebacker kicker Jeff Papke. He's just a freshman from Brookfield, Wisconsin, but boy, he kicked it well the first time, and he does again this time and gets it through the end zone. No chance for a run back for Davian Banks. He would love to do that, but Trojans will take over at the 25-yard line. They'll still have time for probably 2 plays. Again, they have 1 timeout, so if they run a play where the clock continues to run, they could call 1 timeout. But it doesn't look like looks like they're just going to take a knee here. And they call it. Giles goes to a knee, and that's going to be the end of the first half. The score, Dordt 13, Trojans 7. We ask you to stick around for DSU Athletic Director Jeff Dittman and our halftime show. We'll talk about Dakota State football, volleyball, cross country, the Trojan Athletic Club, and anything else that comes to Jeff's mind. We'll be back in about 60 seconds here on DSUathletics.com.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better. Zap.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help and heal you, and probably even know you by name. When you need us, we're right here, providing world-class health care in a hometown hospital. Madison Community Hospital, in touch with life.
I might say, wow, DSU students have special powers. But then you'd picture a crew of Cape Commandos locked in epic battle mode with troglodyte scientists and big brain ninjas. Which is beside the fact that DSU students wield tablet PCs so they can study with confidence on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. A quick pick of what makes DSU students especially powerful. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
He shoots, he scores! Right and it just left the kick in. Pass to the corner, in front of a
There's a time and a place for sports. The place? Mid-Continent. And with more dedicated sports channels than ever, including local sports on Midco Sportsnet, the time is anytime, all the time. More sports on Mid-Continent. It's on. Build your own bundle and save today.
Band practice again at 3:30. Someone stole my car.
Hold the phone. I got my boys at Fix-A-Hoopties to trick out your ride. What do you think? It's tight, right?
Okay, that looks exactly the same.
Didn't your mama tell you? It's the inside that counts. Check this out.
Shut up.
Crisp, clean, thirst-quenching Sprite, never out of reach. Show 'em a motto. By the way, you owe $37,000.
Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better. Zap.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help and heal you, and probably even know you by name. When you need us, we're right here, providing world-class health care in a hometown hospital. Madison Community Hospital, in touch with life.
I might say, wow, DSU students have special powers. But then you'd picture a crew of Cape Commandos locked in epic battle mode with troglodyte scientists and big brain ninjas. Which is beside the fact that DSU students wield tablet PCs so they can study with confidence on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. A quick pick of what makes DSU students especially powerful. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
He shoots, he scores! Right, and it just left. The kick is up. Pass to the corner, in front.
There's a time and a place for sports. The place? Mid-Continent. And with more dedicated sports channels than ever, including local sports on Midco Sportsnet, the time is anytime, all the time. More sports on Mid-Continent. It's on. Build your own bundle and save today.
Band practice again at 3:30. Someone stole my car.
Hold the phone. I got my boys at Fix-A-Hoopties to trick out your ride. What do you think? It's tight, right?
Okay, that looks exactly the same.
Didn't your mama tell you? It's the inside that counts. Check this out.
Shut up.
Crisp, clean, thirst-quenching Sprite, never out of reach. Show 'em a motto. By the way, you owe $37,000.
Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help.
Changeable parts.
You know, I think Josh feels very comfortable with his skill positions. He's, like you say, got a great stable of wide receivers, and plus they're familiar. Two of those athletes played with our quarterback Jacob Giles as high school athletes on a very successful high school program, and so there's that familiarity between those three, and then across the way you just look at our offense, and they've really been able to do some things. They had 405 total offensive yards last week, 315 in the air,
yep.
And so you know what we're going to have to look at, and I'm not going to try and play football coach here or anything, but just get a little more balance and see if we can shut things down on the defensive end and you know, control the line of scrimmage a little bit and stay ahead instead of some of the big plays. I know in visiting with the coaches last week, they were really concerned about how many big plays they gave up, that they'd get Dakota Wesleyan into a 2nd and 11, 3rd and 12, something like that, and then they'd somehow get off the hook. So
and they were able to do that today, too. A couple of barely first downs, but just at the right time, a 3rd and 3 type things. And so, yeah, I can see how the coach would want to reduce those. Let's shift gently to another hat that you wear, women's basketball coach. You have your athletes in school and studying hard before the season gets started?
We're both the men's and the women's programs are in the preseason format, which is a lot of running, a lot of weight training, a little bit of scrimmaging. Nothing very fun about the month of September for our basketball players. So we'll get that base on them, and then right around the 3rd and the 4th week of September, we'll get back into practice, and it won't be very long until October 30th and 31st come along, and Gary actually opens at home on the 28th with Mount Marty, and we're down in the tournament the 30th and 31st in Grandview.
Okay.
So while it seems like a long time right now, it won't be very, very far, and it'll be right there, and snowballs will be coming down and basketballs will be going up.
Ouch, that's the snowball part hurts. Everything else is good. So, well, anyway, Coach, we appreciate, and Athletic Director Jeff Dittman, we appreciate your coming up to the booth. We're going to get a strong second half here and pull out a victory for the local team.
That sounds great. Thank you very much, John.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, that's head coach and athletic director Jeff Dittman. We appreciate him stopping up to the booth at halftime. We'll try to get him on other parts of this season and get some of his insight on all sorts of Trojan sports. So we've got about 4 minutes until kickoff. We're going to take another break, about 2 minutes here at DSUathletics.com. Welcome back to Trojan Field, where the Dakota State University Trojans trail the Dordt defenders 13-7. Just a few seconds before second half kickoff, sun becoming more pronounced from the west all the time. In fact, the official holding the ball as holding his hand in front of his eyes as if he can't see, but they're clearing it. He wanted to check, make sure the clock was reset. Trojans will be receiving. Davian Banks and Brendan Waldner back to receive. Jeff Papke, who's put 2 in the end zone so far, I think he's going to try that again. Nope, this time it's going to go to Banks over his head and through the end zone. That's going to be a touchback. So 3 straight kickoffs from Papke go through the end zone or into the end zone for a touchback. So Trojans will take over 1st and 10 at the 25. They trail by 6 here in the second half. Trojans scored first. They scored a touchdown late in the first half. Dordt scoring 2 touchdowns in the second, missing one of the extra points. Here's Jeremy Christner turning the corner. And nice tackle by Ari Hoekstra, sophomore from Orange City, Iowa. So, Andy, pretty close match in the first half, except for that nice long drive by Dordt to take the lead at the end of the first half.
Yes, that was a pretty good pass. Completion there with all the running and moving around and play clock. They really used it down in that stretch there in that last possession and take the lead.
Christner, a run of about 7 yards. He'll pick up the new 1st and 10. 14:24 remaining in the third quarter. We're just underway. Christner with his 3rd straight carry. This time he's going to lose a couple of yards. And Banks is going to come in for Christner. Not sure why we have the clock stopped there. Okay. They just announced a few minutes ago they're getting new speakers and a headset for the officials, so we'll be able to hear those penalty calls a little bit better. Those should be in time for next week's game. A little bit of a breeze coming up. On the field. Trojans back up a long ways. A 15-yard. What was the penalty? Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Trojans. That's a 15-yard penalty. A huge deficit now. Second and 27, back to the 20-yard line for the Trojans. And that is going to get a couple of yards. I believe that's Banks. Yes, it is. Andy, unsportsmanlike conduct is not the way you want to accumulate penalty yards, is it?
No, it sure isn't. And I'm sure that Coach Anderson's going to have a little talk about that in practice.
So Giles in the shotgun, 1 wide receiver each side, gives it to Christner. He'll pick up a couple. That's the kind of plays you'd expect if you're setting up your punt, not to get a 3rd and 24. So the Trojans will punt it away. Nick Barron's in. For Dordt, Jason Miller is back. And again, Barron's gets it off, a nice little bounce. It goes out of bounds. It'll be at a 42-yard line of the defenders. He's got kind of that running punt. I'm not sure if that's designed to clear some space or to keep the defense from retreating into a return mode in any sense. runs off to the right side and kicks it low but effectively. So 1st and 10 for Dordt. We're right at 13 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Talon Seaman under center. Now he looks to the sideline, calls a new play. Down to 7 seconds on the play clock. He's under center again, in motion. And Van de Veck picks up about 4 yards. Second and 6 for the Trojans, or excuse me, for the defenders on their own 46-yard line. Again, same formation all around. Drops it inside. And Seaman holds onto it. It's going to lose about 3. So let's call it 3rd and 9. Here's the first big stop opportunity for the Trojans. Kulos, a big tackling night again. And they stop him. Great tackle. And that's Cole Potter is able to get that.
And he's second in the team for the Trojans in tackles with 10. One of 6 Trojans who were on the NAIA preseason All-American team.
Quite an honor. Here's the ball bouncing straight up, so Trojans will end up taking over about the 15, so a net loss of 10 yards on the exchange. So Trojans will get a chance to march upfield. 11:14 remaining, third quarter. Dordt leads Dakota State 13-7. Andy, how are we going to march down the field a little bit? Running, passing, or a combination?
Combination.
I'm with you. Ball at the far hash mark. So the Trojans send 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Tish, the tight end on the left side, and a key block for Christner, and he's going to get an easy first down, pick up about 20 yards on the carry. Jeremy Christner.
Got a perfect block, and he took it to the hole.
Broken Bow, Nebraska, and Broken Bow High School alum Jeremy Christner. Just a sophomore, just like Giles. Waldner's a junior. Christner carrying, and he gets another first down. Great carry by Jeremy Christner. 30 yards on those last 2 carries.
Yeah, you really love to see Christian break out from the, from the really good defense from DWU last week to come out this week and just play his game.
Exactly. Yeah, he did. He was stifled by that Tiger defense last week. This week he's a little bit more. This time Banks gets the carry. He bobs and weaves, and he's going to pick up a first down. So 40 yards on the ground for the last 3 rushing plays for the Trojans. Well, let's forget about that mix of the 2, Andy. Let's just go with the run.
Yeah.
They're in Dordt territory now. 1st and 10 from the Dordt 44-yard line. This time Giles swings it out to the right. Gets a nice key block and picks up a few yards. Reception was by Hale. Opdahl with the block. Hale, the senior wide receiver from Polk City, Iowa. Opdahl, the sophomore wide receiver from Madison. 2nd and 8 for the Trojans. We're under 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Giles is going to hand off this time to Banks. Banks charges through. Kind of bowls into Hoekstra. Knocks him back a little bit. So Trojans haven't had, even from their fullback, haven't gone over a lot of people today. 2 wide left, 1 wide right. 9.5 minutes remaining. Christner grabs onto it. He stays with it. And is going to pick up now. The Trojans face a little dilemma here. Got about a 4th and 1.
I'd say go for it.
Yeah, that's the kind of analyst you are. You got to go for it, and they listened. So Trojans with a 4th and 1.
And they got to convert here.
And they've had such success in recent this drive.
And of the 4th down conversions this year, they've completed 3 out of 4.
That's right.
Attempts.
Play clock now under 10. Christner breaks through, and he gets the first down. Slips, trying to put another move on, but easily gets the first down. Moves the chains again, so 8:45 remaining in the third. Trojans on a nice drive. This started at their own 15, and now they're down to the 29-yard line of Dordt. So 46 yards so far.
And Kirshner running on a lot of those.
Almost
yards.
all of them. He grabs it again. He might be getting a little fatigued on that. And here comes Preston Nordling in for the first time. He comes in for Hale. I believe that's the first time he's been on the field. And Hagan now comes in at running back. So the third down situation, change out the running back and 3 receivers. And Hagan's going to get through. Is he going to make the first down? No. But he'll get down, pick up at least 5 or 6 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 2. And a timeout on Dordt. That's a little early to take that, but the Trojans were set to hike that with a quick no huddle. Andy, it's really paying off to have, legitimately 3 running backs. Hagan and Christner, of course, carrying most of the load. Between the two of them, 160 yards or so. But you bring in Davian Banks, too, who can catch the ball out of the backfield, can run. That's a good set of running backs.
It sure is. You really like to have depth on the team. That way you can sub players in every other 4 plays, like you mentioned earlier, or last week where they did 4 plays for a player, so you don't get them really rusty or tired or cramped. So it's a good thing for a team to have in depth. And they sure do in many positions.
So Zach Wilkinson in at wide receiver now. Again, we've been exchanging them pretty well. Austin Opdahl on the other side. So Waldner is out. Hale is out. Nordling is out. Christner returns to the I-back position. Giles in the shot. He's got the fade for Opdahl. Touchdown, Trojans! Our guys in the booth predicted that as soon as he fade back. They talked about, or he stepped back. They talked about that fade, and it was a perfect pass from Giles to Opdahl, 2 sophomores connecting and tying this game 13-all. Andy, that might be the best drive of the year for the Trojans.
It sure was. And take it back from last year when Jacob Giles took the reins at quarterback. He really made a tight friendship with Opdahl, and they both connected with a lot of good plays last year, and they're carrying it over to this year. Another great play by those 2 combos.
And an extra point is good. Nick Behrens puts it through and gives the Trojans a new lead, 14-13, 7:37 remaining in the third quarter. Terrific drive from the Trojans from stem to stern all the way down. At the previous drive, they took a backward step, ended up having about a 4th and 20. This drive, no mistakes. Bring it all down, and mostly on the back of Christner, and then a touchdown pass from Jacob Giles to Austin Opdahl.
Yeah, and that big mistake in the last drive with the
Unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
So Barron's set to kick off. He's on the near hash mark. Has 5 players on each side. Caffey's the farthest back receiver. And a short kick. We go to the middle. And that's going to be some trouble. Andre Williams is not a typical midway back. He has the chance to break it. The 5'6" senior from San Diego. And he gets it up to midfield. They'll mark it right at the 45-yard line of Dordt. 7:28 remaining. Trojans with a 1-point lead here in the third quarter.
Let's get some defense now.
Now is the time. Sun still in the eyes of Dordt at the moment. Again, with the ground game, shouldn't matter as much, but if they decide to throw some, that'll be in the eyes of the quarterback. Boom! They got Seaman down for a loss of about 5.
Let me guess, it'd be Cole Potter for the sack.
Let's see there. Who was that on the tackle?
96, 42, 77.
All right, team tackle, Andy. I can't name them all right now. Don't know how they only recorded a loss of 2 on that, but looked like a loss of 5 to me. This time runs up the middle, and Bryce Lidka, freshman running back from Grinnell, Iowa, gets the carry. He picks up about 10 yards. So the defenders will face a 3rd and 1 at the 46-yard line. Single running back, man in motion, hands it off. Easy first down for Dordt. They'll get down to about the 40-yard line. And they're marching down the field. So the Trojans, again, with that great drive, let's see if we can get a turnover or a stop.
That's what we would like here.
But except for those pitches are probably the best opportunity for a turnover since they don't pass very much. More so than fumbling or an interception. But we've already picked off a pitch today. Now grinding forward, there's a whole mass in there. Looked like Lidka again. Yes, it was. And he picks up 7 yards, so 2nd and 3. Ground game working for Dordt now. Same formation. Again, they usually send a guy in motion. He retreats. Just 4 seconds on the play clock. Hands it inside. Boom. Great stop. Kulos with the stop. We're under 5 minutes now. So big play now, 3rd and 3. A couple of running plays for Dordt gets them to this position, and we would guess they would also go for it if they don't get the first down on the next play. Pitch to Caffey. He might be trapped. No, he gets through for a first down. So Dordt moves the chains again. They've got a successful drive going. They're now down to about the 31-yard line of Dakota State. .81 degrees here at Trojan Field. A little bit of a humidity in the air. Up the middle, we'll get a few yards. Again, clock runs pretty quickly. It'll be a 2nd and 8. Clock now under 4 minutes. Ball on the 29-yard line. Play clock at 15 seconds. Boy, they just keep moving the pile, too. The running backs are getting hit by defenders, by Trojan defenders, and then being able to pick up still 2 or 3 yards. So it turns a 1-yard gain into about a 4-yard gain. So, Andy, that tells me that the offensive line of Dordt has got some strength and power.
Yes, they sure do. They've shown it so far tonight. But look for DSU in stopping the play in one of these drives.
3rd and 4, there's the big play, and they knock Seaman back. So it'll be about a 4th and 5. Let's see how they, they spot it back there at the 4th and 5. So they appear as though they're going to go for it. It's kind of a no man's land. It's too far to kick and too short to punt. We'd expect a pitch to the right side to Caffey. That's what I'm predicting. Nope, he goes out. Everybody throws. And that's going to be a 1st down. Dordt. That's obviously a play that they practiced just for that situation because they haven't used it before, but they ran it as though they've run it many times before. Clock running again. They're still looking for a play from the sideline. Play clock at 7. Here's Caffey in motion. And Litka breaks through. This running game for Dordt really starting to rack up the yards. They're now at about 200, which is where the Trojans are. So each team doing it not much in the air. 51 yards for Dordt, 42 for the Trojans, but each about 200 yards on the ground. 1.5 remaining in the quarter. Dordt facing the sun. Boom. Effective pitch, and boy, these guys, they're going to say, no, he's short.
Who ran that? The 25?
Ball will be spotted at about the half-yard line. 1st and goal for the defenders. They're just able to move the Trojans all the way down the field. That critical 4th and 5 play, a pass to the sidelines. Now they try to set a quarterback sneak, and it works. Touchdown, Dordt. And they take a 19-14 lead. Right at 59 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. So, Andy, Trojans take a lead. Dordt takes it right back.
That's the showing so far today in this game. Back and forth play. When one team scores, the other team answers, and it's been back and forth. Very nice game all around today. So, if you guys are still at home, come up for the last quarter here and watch a great game showing right now between Dordt and Dakota State.
They go for 2 and get it. So now extend their lead to 7. Remember, they had missed that extra point on the first touchdown. And so now they're able to get it back here and so enjoy a 21-14 lead. 59 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dordt leads Dakota State by a touchdown. We'll be back in 60 seconds here on DSUathletics.com. Welcome back to Trojan Field. Dordt defenders leading the Trojans 21-14. About a minute left in the third quarter. Dordt's Jeff Papke ready to kick off. Davian Banks and Brendan Waldner ready to kick. This time it looks like Banks will have a chance at it. Nope, he lets it go again. Papke's specialty, besides linebacking, is kicking it through the end zone for a touchback. So the Trojans will take over 1st and 10 on the 25. Andy, what do you think about repeating that last offensive drive for the Trojans?
Well, the Trojans are going to answer back with Dordt and get a touchdown, tie this game up.
All right, they go to the sidelines, talk it over briefly. Again, clock did not start on a touchback like that. Only once a player catches it and advances it does the clock start. So 59 seconds. And again, no re-kick at the end of the third quarter. They'll just turn around and go the other direction. Giles in the shotgun. Gives it out to Hagen. Hines, and he breaks through. Oh, my. One of the best runs of the day for Hagen. And all of a sudden, he's going to be up in about the 75-yard mark. Remember, he led the Trojans in rushing last week with just 42. And Jeremy Christner is over 100 rushing already. So Trojans now over 200 yards. Giles back to pass. Nice. Got a route. Good luck. Opdahl. Got him. Beautiful play. Wow, Austin Opdahl. That might be the best pass of Giles' game. Opdahl comes off limping a little bit. Not sure what that's about. But he had the speed on his defender. His defender didn't look back. I thought he might after Austin was looking back for a while. But a nice first down for the Trojans. Hines in the backfield with Giles. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right. Here's another pass. Giles gets out of the pocket successfully this time and finds Hale, it looks like, on the other side. Doug Hale, the senior wide receiver from Iowa, picks up his second reception. And about a gain of 7, so he's got 9 yards. First reception was for 2. But Trojans getting nice and close to the end zone. They'll have a 2nd and 3 at the 15. We're at the end of the third quarter. Trojans 14, Dordt 21. Wonder why they're not moving the ball down yet. Now they pick it up. Again, 15-yard line, 2nd and 3rd. They'll be going west now to finish out the game. Let's get some updated team stats. First downs now all even between these two teams, 17 each. Rushing yards, as we mentioned, about 200. Dordt is a little less than that, 187. Trojans now over at 216. Passing yards, Trojans now extending its lead a little bit, 82-51. So on the basis of total offense, 298 versus 238 would not indicate a deficit. But we'll see how this drive ends and see if they can tie it up. Trojans at the 15-yard line. The booth is calling for a Bobby Tisch seam route. Let's see what it is. Nope, it's a handoff to Hagen Hines, and he bursts through for a first down. Great running. That's what they need. What do these guys in the booth know anyway? Oh, not necessarily that play. Sometime this season. Maybe against Presentation. All right, here's a handoff inside, and Hines is going to be dragged back. He might lose a little. Now second and goal will be at about the 9, loss of a yard. Hale comes back in. And Alex Babcock, the second tight end, comes out. Opdahl and Hale on the far right, Waldner on the left. Here's a pass to Waldner. Oh, you got to throw a flag, and they do. The defender was all over Waldner, just literally holding him on, but Brendan called for it. Now he rolls on his back as if he's injured. Looks like he may have twisted an ankle slightly. Hopefully that's a temporary. He comes off the field.
We really hate to see that.
Yep. He's walking pretty well. A little bit of a limp. So, again, not many receptions. Remember, Waldner led the team in. So that's an automatic first down, even though they had a first and goal, and this was the third play. It's an automatic first down, and they're from the 3-yard line.
It was actually second and goal at the 9 because they had a
they had the first loss, right? That first play to Hines. Now Giles goes under center. He gives it to Banks, and he walks in for the touchdown. Trojans pull to within 1. An important extra point here. Nick Behrens runs on the field. 14:01 remaining, fourth quarter. And Trojans score on a nice drive again. 2 straight drives for the Trojans. And now hoping to convert and tie this game up. Here's Hines. Boom, it looks good. It is. Tie ball game, 21-all, 14:01 remaining in the fourth quarter here at Trojan Field.
Just the way I called it.
What did you call?
That the Trojans going to march down in this possession to score and tie the game at 21.
Outstanding. So 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown for the Trojans. Banks has 2 touchdowns in just 6 carries. Maybe we should give the ball to him a little bit more often. And the 1 passing touchdown goes from Giles to Opdahl. Again, not a lot of receiving receptions for the Trojans. They've only got 7 in the game. Opdahl with 2, Hagen Hines with 2, Doug Hale with 2, Jeremy Christner with 1. So Waldner with 6 and Nordling with 5 have no receptions yet tonight. Remember, next week here at Trojan Field, September 12th, Trojans open their conference season. That'll be against Waldorf here at 6 p.m. at Trojan Field. We'd urge you to come out and enjoy watching the Trojans.
You must really love these 6 o'clock games.
They're working great. Oh, here's it. Yeah, here's trouble. Litke, as a middle receiver, then bobbled it. End up losing a bunch of yards. They're back at the 16-yard line. So good field position for the Trojans to have the Dordt defenders back so far in their own territory. We'll see if we can hold them. Clock did start on that because Litke trying to advance it. So 13:59 remaining in the game. And Seaman faked a handoff inside. to Vandevet and did not give it to him. Held on, ended up losing 3 yards. 2nd and 13. Ball back now on the 13. Here's a handoff inside. And Vandevet gets it, heads up a little bit, picks up, let's say, 5 yards. So we'll have a 3rd and 8. An important 3rd down for the defenders here early in the 4th quarter. If they want to keep this drive going, they've got 8 yards to do that. Might see them pass again. Again, same formation though. They did run a different formation on that other 3rd down. They're going to pass it. As a receiver, no, he throws it out of bounds, but there's a flag. They talk about a catchable ball. Gandali, I think, is the guy who's going to get flagged for that. Local crowd doesn't like that call at all. And that's a 1st down for the defenders. Pass interference is the call. First and 10 for Dordt, 12:50 remaining. Seaman keeps it, makes a couple, nice moves and breaks through for a 1st down. Good running there. Seaman picks up a few yards. He's been mixing in some good runs and some losses of yards, so he has just a net of about 25 yards on 16 carries. 1st and 10. Caffey in motion, gives it to Vandevet. He picks up 3. Again, both teams concentrating on the ground game. Just 18 pass attempts between the two teams. Meanwhile, 95 rushing attempts. Dordt with the ball, 2nd and 6. Seaman holds onto it again, doesn't see an opening this time. Trojans trying to strip the ball clean if they can. Caleb Sink, the freshman defender, in there. Eleven and a half minutes remaining in the game. This game is tied 21-all. Defenders right at midfield now, a 3rd and 3. Another important 3rd down conversion.
I'd really love to get a stop here.
This would be the time. Handoff inside, and they are going to stop. Vandevet did not go anywhere, maybe a yard. And so 4th and 2, they will go for it again. No, they're bringing on a punt team. Now this could be a fake too, but at the moment it looks like it's going to be a punt. Waldner back to receive. .10:41 remaining in the game. Looks like the Trojans are going to get the ball back. Beautiful punt. Waldner runs away from it. It's going to make it to the end zone. It does. And so a 25-yard advance from where it could have been a second ago, and Trojans will take over 1st and 10. .10:27 remaining. remember, a week from tonight, 6 o'clock, the conference opener. Dakota State takes on conference rival Waldorf right here at Trojan Field. So come out and support the Trojans. Again, this also next Saturday, the lone home cross-country meet out at the Madison Golf and Country Club. Here's Giles handing off to Christner. He's going to pick up a few yards. Trojans, again, the best scenario for them, keep moving the chains. If they continue to run it, clock will run down and score sometime without remaining a lot. Looks like Christner has a shoe trouble, so they send in Hines. Waldner on the near side, Opdahl on the far side. 2 tight end situation. 12 seconds on the play clock. Now they're deliberately trying to work it down a little bit. Giles back to pass. He sees Waldner way out of his range. I'm not sure they had their communication connected there because Waldner was not sprinting right away. He isn't limping at all from maybe that pass interference call earlier in the quarter. But a 3rd and 7, now an important 3rd down conversion here for the Trojans. They'd prefer not to punt this thing back. Giles back to pass, right across the middle. Would have been a 1st down. So we've been talking about getting the ball to Tish Moore, and there was that opportunity, but Jacob just led him a little bit too much.
Now let's see what Josh Anderson does here, if he goes for the extra 4th down conversion or if he's going to punt it.
Well, this is a punting team is on. Nick Behrens, they're lined up a 4th and 8 deep in their own territory is probably an obvious choice. Here's Behrens. He doesn't run this time, but a beautiful kick. And it's going to roll out of bounds right about the 32-yard line. Nice kick by Nick Behrens and a good field position exchange for the Trojans. So Dordt is back in their own territory at about the 32-yard line. 9:34 remaining. Tie game here at Trojan Field. Play clock continuing to run, 13 seconds on that. Game clock has not yet started. And Litka gains about 3 on the carry, so it'll be 2nd and 7. Again, now Dordt wanting to run down the clock a little bit and hoping to score just before the game ends. Tight formation. Back to pass. He sees Caffey. He's got him open, and he's heading down the sideline. That's trouble. Finally, out of bounds. Austin Ross forced him out, but not after a gain of about 35 yards. Beautiful play out of the backfield with Caffey swinging around to the right side and getting behind the defender, and Seaman putting it right in the numbers. So 1st and 10 for Dordt at the Trojan 29-yard line. Litka heads straight forward. He's going to pick up about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6, 8:25. Still lots of time for both teams. Crowd staying on hand here at Trojan Field. Nice crowd. We assume we lost a few students for the Labor Day weekend, but all the adult fans are still here and many of the students. 8 minutes remaining in the game. Dordt with a 2nd and 6. Hands off inside. Litka is going to get held pretty close, maybe pick up about a yard or 2. So a 3rd and 4, let's call it. Texas A&M, by the way, 14-7 over Arizona State. We're rooting for the Sun Devils on this one. ASU has the ball. They're just starting the second half. Nebraska, as we mentioned, losing on a Hail Mary at the last game. Minnesota losing yesterday. Here's a pass. Seaman, nobody there. Mixed up route. Jason Miller thought maybe it was a button hook of some sort, and Seaman was heading all the way down there to the corner. And so here's a team coming on. We'll see. It looks like a kicking team. So this will be about a 40-yard attempt. This could take the lead for the defenders. And it's got a chance. Just gets it over, barely, and takes the lead, 24-21. Wow, what a kick. It never rose that much. That's probably about all the distance he's got, but it's enough to take a lead. 24-21 with 7:10 remaining. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 60 seconds at dsuathletics.com. And that's the theme of this game, those kickoffs for Dordt, getting in the end zone every time. So Trojans will take over at their own 25 for a potential game-winning drive, right, Andy?
Go Trojans.
All right. We caught him a little off guard there. So 25-yard line for the Trojans, 1st and 10. They lead 24-21.
On a booming field goal. It was just unbelievable.
So Christner's in trouble. He'll lose several yards on this play. See how much forward motion they give him. They even up to about the 21, so it'll be a 4-yard loss for the Trojans. This is a time to have a good drive. Christner looked a little hesitant on that. I'm not sure what he saw once he got the ball, but wasn't charging forward at the time. This time he gets a little outside. He gets a little room. And a first down for Jeremy Christner. Great running for Christner again. He's exceeding 125 yards. So a nice comeback for him today, and approaching 20 carries. So really been the workhorse today, averaging about 6 yards a carry. Gets the ball again, picks up about 3 yards. 6:19 remaining in the game. Clock continues to run. Could very well be the last possession of the game. Christner comes off. Giles in the shotgun, hands it to Hines. And he's going to make us some yards, almost a first down, probably just short, about a yard short. He got hit from the back to advance him. Now Davian Banks comes in for Hines. Looks like he was hurt. He's kind of holding his right arm. I don't know if it's his elbow that got hurt there, but Banks is here. They didn't call that. Defensive end for Dordt crossed the ball for a moment. Now here's a handoff to Banks, and he gets up for the first down. Nice run, Davian Banks. Picks up the 2 yards. One was necessary, so a first down as Trojans go into Dordt territory just past midfield. No huddle offense. And 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Waldner's here on the left. Handoff to Christner. He's going to pick up a couple yards. Now clock approaching 5 minutes. We don't know Barron's field goal length, Andy, how far he can kick. He has not been on display yet this year. So we don't know how far they need to go. Christner gets it. This time he's going to break free. He's heading toward the sidelines. He's heading past the 25 down to almost the 20-yard line. Jeremy Christner, probably his long run of the day. The earlier longest run was 19 yards. I didn't get the official count on that, but it had to be at least 20. And I'd say 20, there you go, 23, thank you. So Jeremy Christner carrying the water here. Now up over 150 yards. All right, enough sweaty and gross on the air, boys. Injury timeout. Could have been worse. Hosea Cotti with the injury. So clock stops and it gets restarted now. Approaching 4.5 minutes. Hagen Hines picks up 3 yards, it looks like. So it'll be 2nd and 7, 4:20. Trojans trail by 3, but they're nearly in the red zone. They're at the 20-yard line. 4:17 remaining in the game. They'll give it to Christner. Little hesitation and a nice tackle. Joey Lavater with the tackle. So now an important 3rd and 7. They'll obviously go for things down here, but the Trojans need to score. It's under 4 minutes. They may not get the ball back if they don't. Here's Giles. He's back to pass. He's got plenty of room. He's going to get a block, and he's going to stay in bounds. And I don't know if that's enough for the first down. I kind of don't think so. But we will see how it's marked. But did get, we just can't tell yet how it's spotted. It's right on about the marker, and they will say no, that they're going to measure. They'll come that part of that is to appease the home crowd who thinks Dordt has gotten the breaks on some of those first down calls. They come all the way over to the sideline because Giles was running on the left sideline. And it looks like keep pulling, and they will say they're going to get down, get a magnifying glass. And they'll call it oh my goodness. Not a magnifying glass, a microscope. Fourth down. Did not get the call. Well, I mean, you know, when they mark those in the first place, they go, it's about here is good, and then it gets to a millimeter difference when you. No, they're just placing the ball. So 4th and a fraction of an inch.
You can tell Coach Anderson is not happy down in the field.
Yeah, that seemed like, that's a neutron microscope they had to use for that. So 4th and almost nothing. A critical play, maybe the most critical of the game for the Trojans if they want to keep this drive alive. Giles in there, and he gets it. First down for the Trojans. So a great charge by the offensive line, and Jacob Giles charges through and gets a 1st and 10 from about the 13-yard line. And again, 3.5 minutes now to play. If they can get into the end zone, there will not be much time for Dordt to come back with another drive, but there is still enough time for that anything can happen, Andy.
Yes, that sure can.
So Giles in the shotgun. He's got Christner behind him. Christner breaks through. He's heading toward the end zone. Has he got it? And a touchdown, Trojans! Great running by Jeremy Christner. Holy smokes. He's having an outstanding game. Now with about 170 yards on 24 carries. Wow, what a game for Jeremy Christner. So Trojans doing what needs to be done. And the kick, that is going to be right up the middle. And a 28-24 lead. Now that's important because now the defenders cannot tie it with a field goal. They've demonstrated with a 40-yard field goal earlier in this quarter that they can kick the long one. Now that would not be enough, just 3 points and a 4-point difference. Nevertheless, 3:03 remaining. Dordt has 2 timeouts left, so they would be able to stop the clock. But with that predominant running game, that precludes a little bit of the idea of stopping the clock frequently. So they may have to go to the air, even though they've only thrown 9 times today. But they have been successful through the air, averaging almost 10 yards per reception. Well, it's more than that. They're averaging about 13 yards per reception, including a touchdown. So they Dordt could effectively switch to a passing game for the purposes of stopping the clock and get down the field, even though they prefer to run, having rushed the ball 63 times today, passed only 9. Here's a squib kick. That works. That goes through the end zone for a touchback. Barron's doing a really nice job with his kickoffs and punts today. Has to run out for his own tee. Don't they have assistants to do that kind of? Some freshmen, redshirt freshmen, go out and do that? Right, exactly. That's what freshmen are for. All right, 3:03, big drive for the Dordt defenders. Trojans have the lead, 28-24 here at Trojan Field. Andy, your suggestion to come out and watch the fourth quarter was a good one.
Yes, it sure was, and I'm sticking to it.
Handoff inside, only a gain of a couple yards, so the clock will continue to run on that. I'm not sure how much they want to grind out here, and they have to get a touchdown. So they'll lose at least, I'd say 20 seconds. They're still looking to the sidelines for a play. I think unreasonably using up time. They'll snap it at about 2.5 minutes. Under center. He keeps it, this time with a fumble. Dives on it and gonna lose a few yards. 3rd and 14, a crucial play. They'll obviously take 2 plays to get those 14 yards, but they've got a ways to go. Now back to pass. Seaman turns the corner. He's going to pick up some yards, but not very many. So he'll still face about a 4th and 7, let's say. So minute 49, this is the play of the game for the defenders. They have to convert here if they want this game to continue. They can stop the clock on a Trojan takeover. However, they'd still be at this end of the field even if they got it over on downs. So this is the play of the game for the defenders. Rolling left. Seaman has a receiver. Got the first down. Keeps the drive alive. Just about a yard past the first down marker. And it goes to Jason Miller. Miller's 5th reception of the day. He leads the defenders in receptions. Has 48 yards, which is 2nd on the team to Caffey. Flags everywhere. We'll see what this is about. Minute 29. And that'll go against Dordt. So they'll back it up, and it'll remain first down. They lose the yards, not the down, but more importantly, they lose a few seconds off the clock. Not many. They called that immediately, so maybe only a second on that. In any sense, 1st and 15 now from the 32. That crucial 4th down conversion kept this drive alive. And a draw play is not going to work. They're talking about spiking it or something because now they're approaching 1 minute. 2nd and 15. No, 2nd and 13, excuse me. Rolls out back to pass. Almost intercepted. So Teason was closest there. He dove for it, couldn't quite get it, but now the clock does stop with 54 seconds. 3rd and 13. Again, 2 plays to get the first down, but most importantly, down to 54 seconds left on the clock in this game. Trojan fans stomping their feet, some of them on their feet, cheering on the locals. Here's Seaman. Fumble. He's going to dive back for it, gets hit, and will lose some yards again. Clock stops. So 48 seconds from it. Now here's the big play, 4th and 21 or something. They called timeout, so Dordt will have 1 timeout remaining after this. Defense, one of the best stops of the day, Andy.
Yes, they sure are. And we need to stop right here.
Again, 48 seconds remaining, but most importantly, this is 4th down. So unless they can get 20 yards out of this, this game will be over. Unless something freaky happens, like a fumble on the Trojans' part, they would take over in downs right around the 26-yard line. So this is the play of the game again. Remember last time converted 4th down, made it by just a yard to spare, but kept the drive alive. Clock won't start until the snap. You can hear the Trojan fans cheering away. Can they stop them on the 4th and 21? Back to pass. And he's going to be sacked, and that's the ball game. Trojans are going to win this one. Great defensive stop by Dakota State University just when they needed it. The last drive of the game. offensively took the lead, get the extra point to get that 4-point cushion, and then shut down the defenders with a huge loss. They may have been, they had a 1st and 10 and ended up probably backing up 25 or 26 yards after that. So they'll take a knee. Dordt might try to stop it. I don't know why they would. Because they would have a chance to do that in 2 more plays anyway. Even if they do stop the clock, it would be merely delaying the inevitable. "15 seconds remaining on the clock. 17 on the play clock. So they will let that run, and the coaches head across, and the players go to congratulate one another. 3, 2, 1. And the first victory of the year for the Dakota State University Trojans, Andy. Quite a game.
And a very good one. Very well played, very well deserved win for the Trojans.
28-24. Dakota State now 1-1 on the year against 2 non-conference foes. They'll start the conference season next Saturday against Waldorf right here at Trojan Field. So the local fans go home happy. A great game, back and forth certainly. Both teams relying primarily on the running game in order to advance the ball. Not as much passing, unlike last week. Remember last week's game, 315 yards in the air and less than 100 on the ground. This week, just the opposite. Passing under 100 and rushing over 300. Virtually turn those 2 numbers around. Player of the game, Andy? Probably Jeremy Christner.
Yeah, I'd give it to Christner.
166 yards, 24 carries, 6.9 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Davian Banks, 2 touchdowns. And then 1 to the air, Giles to Austin Opdahl. So let's take a look at team statistics. They're going to be pretty close, folks. Dakota State led the edge in first downs, 24-21. Rushing, again, that 302 number. Quite a night for a Trojan ground game. 215 yards for Dordt. Passing 82 yards for the Trojans, 98 for Dordt. So the edge at the end in total yards ends up in Dakota State's favor, 384 to 313. 4 fumbles by Dordt, 2 of them lost, and Trojans 2 fumbles, 1 lost. Penalties only 2 for Dordt, 6 for the Trojans for 56 yards. So that'd be it's not excessive, but nevertheless you'd like to clean up some of that a little bit. Punting average good for both teams, over 40 yards each. Possession time went strongly to Dordt, almost 37 minutes to 22. So that's that ground game preponderance that really makes a difference in the time of possession. Let's look at individual statistics. As we mentioned, 166 yards on 24 carries out of Jeremy Christner. Hagen Hines, 92 yards on 12 carries, a nice 7.7 yards per rush. Davian Banks, 41 yards, but 2 on 7 carries. 2 of those were touchdowns. Jacob Giles, 7 carries for 3 yards. He was in negative territory for a while. Gets up and gets a crucial run to the left side early, but that was
a combination of a sneeze.
Then for passing, Jacob Giles, 7 for 13 for 82 yards and 1 touchdown. Receiving then, Austin Opdahl, Receiving for the Trojans, Austin Opdahl, 2 for 54 and 1 touchdown. So 27-yard average, but really think of that, only 7 passes, 2 to Hines, 2 to Hale, and 1 to Christner. So a completely different game for the Trojans in that sense. Let's look at individual statistics for Dordt College. Rushing, again, 215 to the air, split primarily between Loken Vandevet, 65 yards, and Bryce Litka, 65 yards. But also 37 for Xavier Caffey. Quarterback Talon Seaman, 21 attempts for 24 yards. That might say something a little bit about their offense, that their quarterback, who averages about 1 yard per carry, had the most attempts on the team. Andre Williams, 4 carries for 16, and Keithan Drury, 1 carry for 8 yards. In the air, Seaman, 7 attempts for 7 completions on 11 attempts for 98 yards and 1 touchdown. Receiving, led by Jason Miller with 5 receptions. He had 48 yards. Caffey had 2 receptions for 50 yards and 1 TD. So all in all, a terrific game for both squads. Trojans come out on top at the end. They win by 4, even their record at 1-1 for the season. Those are both non-conference games, so they're still 0-0 in the NSAA. That season will start next Saturday at Trojan Field, 6 o'clock start, September 12th. So we'd urge you to come out that day. If you want to support Trojan Cross Country, head out to the Madison Golf and Country Club west of Madison, 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. The women start and the men will follow. That'll be about 11:15.
Or do all 3.
Do all 3. And then you can travel and go see the ladies volleyball team. Again, they had a nice tournament so far down at the Corn Palace Classic, winning 2 yesterday, losing 1 this morning, playing this afternoon. We do not yet have the results for that. But we will, if you look at the website, dsuathletics.com, or the Twitter feed, Sports Information Director Nick Huntermer will get those results to you right away. So we're going to call it a day here. Trojans win at home, 28-24 over the Dordt Defenders. So for Andy Hunter and the rest of the crew, I'm John Hunter. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on dsuathletics.com.
Go Trojans.